call him father, and I'm attached to him even more than my real father. So for me, I feel that it's not actually the person who gave birth to you that sometimes you have that love. I didn't go to the university to become a doctor. I started with engineering. One day I was walking to Chapatre State to see my aunt, that is Margaret Kankam. She just died last year, and I went to her funeral. May her soul rest in peace. Then as I was going, something told me that you must go to the medical school.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yeah. To my life, my testimony by Elder Patrick. And today, as we celebrate your 65th birthday, we are here in our Father's house to listen to wisdom, what kept him till this far, where he is from, and what he has been doing. Okay. So, Elder, if I may ask, who is Elder Dr. Kankam?
Thank you so much for this great opportunity to introduce myself to you. Though we have been together and you're my son, but I think this will be an opportunity to introduce myself. Actually, my name is Joshua Kankam. I was born on Monday, on the 25th of July, 1957, in a small town in the Brown African region called Akrosun. This town was near to the Volta River, then the Volta River. And when the Volta River was dammed, it became a lake. And then we were resettled at a place near a farm place called Ntoaboma. So that's where I was born. That's where I had my early childhood until I attended class 1. When we were going to class 2, the Volta Lake started, expanding. So we were resettled by the then VRA to a farm place in a small place called Ntoaboma. So at the same time, when I went to Ntoaboma to start class 2, primary 2, I was asked to go to my uncle in Rawa, that is in the Volta region, just across the Volta Lake on the other side. So as a young boy, they took me to what do you call a canoe. Yeah, we rode in a canoe for hours to go to cross to the Volta region, and then go to stay with my uncle. In fact, in Rara, I lived with my grandmother. My grandmother by name Yasantua. Yeah. So basically, that I was born as Joshua Kankam, and then I was baptized as Joshua Kankam. And then when I went to secondary school, I read about a historian known as Joshua Reynolds. So I added the Reynolds in secondary school. So now my full names are Joshua Reynolds Joshua Kankam.
Thank you, Elder. Yes, as you all heard, we are talking to Elder Dr. Joshua Kankam, or you can say Joshua Reynolds Kankam. Yes, giving us some brief background on where he was born and the names that were given to him. But moving on, someone may say that since he's a doctor, maybe when he was born, things were good in the family, everything was rosy. We want to know from our father that, Daddy, your background, was it all rosy within the family? Maybe send you can you treat no you want to see so on charity and Sana nani matia na say yeah it was God who established you.
I just want to say for me, I think it's God who established me. Because where I came from, I grew among siblings of my age, of my uncles and all. The life that they all went through, we went through different life, and I think that it was by the grace of God that I went to Rara to stay with my grandmother and my uncle. There it was not easy. Not easy in the sense that my grandmother was a trader. She was selling yams, and then I used to help her sell yams. She was farming. I go to farm. On Saturdays we go to farm to, work and bring food for the whole week. My uncle was a teacher. His name was also Teacher Kankam. He also born Kwajo Kankam, so also is Kankam. For him, his father came from Rara. My grandmother delivered my father before coming to Rara, and then he married in Rara. So I wouldn't say it was quite difficult, but the training that my uncle gave me, I think I'm very grateful. Initially, I thought maybe I was not a son or what. It was very harsh on me and all. Because when you go to farm, I'll be beside him and I'll be weeding us. We will start the same row and we'll go in. And it was not easy. He didn't have a child then, but then that training also helped me. I can remember that we were going to school in shift. Sometimes we go in the morning, sometimes we go in the afternoon shift. But before I go in the morning, in the afternoon, he will give me work to do in the garden, all those things. And the one thing I liked about him was that in the evening he would set a table and put a book or a newspaper on it and say, I must read. And I think that also helped me.
Yes, we continue with the interview with Eld Dr Joshua Kankam, and one thing that pushed me a bit, that some of us stayed with some people we thought they were treating us bad, but in actual sense they were strengthening us. They were putting more oil so that we will be able to face life. So that is to answer the question that it wasn't all rosy for him through education. He went through a lot, and it is God who lifted him up. Okay, Daddy, talking about schooling, being a doctor, also most of their times people may think that yes, to be able to become a doctor, maybe you went through one of the best schools way back in Ghana, but I want you to clarify things for us. How was it, your elementary school through to secondary school? How were things?
Yeah, when I left Ntwaboma to go to Rara, class 2, I was finding it difficult to read. I was finding it difficult to do the masters. Any average child. But the teachers were encouraging us. One thing that helped was that they gave us groups and we were studying together. The people who could read better than us We were supposed to go to them and do reading. We use lantern, we use candles, we use the local
Bobo.
bobo. We use that to study. And we struggled, and it was not easy. It was class 5 that I started to understand things. But I thank some of our teachers. The teachers appeared to be wicked. They give you work or they give you poem, and you cannot recite, but they would let you sleep on the table and lash you. They give you mental. You don't pass, they will lash you. One teacher, his name is Amewolo. I can never forget that teacher. He was terrible, caning us, and we didn't like him. But I mean, now I would say that those were the best teachers. Teachers then also, people did, but they were committed, and we also respected them, and not. We go to their farms, we do their gardens for them, we fetch water for them. I mean, and also they also did their best. So I completed elementary school, Form 4, but when I got to Form 2, my late aunt bought me common entrance this thing. Form 2 I didn't pass. Form 3, I didn't even go to write. Form 3, they bought me, I passed, and I went for interview. I went for interview in Jasikan, which is about a few kilometers from Rara. I went with a certain boy, and then my school was Mauli Secondary School. It was one of the good schools in so I chose Mauli as first choice, Bishop Herman second choice. Then when we went to them, I chose Mauli because my aunt attended Mauli, so I wanted also to attend Mauli. But they didn't, pick me. And then Bishop Herman said, for Bishop Herman, if you don't take them first choice, they will not consider you. So I proceeded to Form 4 actually. So I went to Form 4 and I did it again. This time I passed and Bishop Herman took me. So I went to Bishop Herman Secondary School. We used to call it BHC, that is Bishop Herman College. I attended from Form 1 to Upper 6. I entered Form 1 in 1973. And then I passed my O-levels in 1978, went back to Bishop Herman and completed in 1980. And then from there I went to UST. Yeah, as I will say, I'll talk about some of the hardships. School fees was a problem in the sense that, even if you get bursary, because God, in fact, when I got to the middle school, I was doing well. In fact, by Form 3, I was the top student by the grace of God. So when I went to Bishop Herman also, I was doing well. In fact, second term, Form 1, I was the first among 120 students.
Wow.
And so they gave me bursary, but the bursary couldn't cover everything. And one thing also that was that my father was a cocoa farmer, so my father had some cocoa. So CMB, we thought that CMB would give me
a scholarship. Yeah, cocoa scholarship.
Because they didn't give me. Parents of other students who are able to pay, they were giving the scholarship. So it was a struggle. But what I did was that I had some two friends. We called ourselves believers. When we say believers, this is I enjoy. They were very good Christians. We used to go and get a farm, maybe somebody's plot, 1 acre. We are able to finish a half acre in 1 day. In fact, we were hard working. We eat a lot when we are working. So I could remember one time I cleared maize farm and left to school. That's when I was in university. When I came back, my uncle has harvested and I came to sell. And I'll say it was not easy. I was doing very well, but later, because of hardship and stress, I saw that my strength had gone back. But my uncle encouraged me, and always I tried to remain in the first 10 and blah, blah, blah. And God, being so grateful to me, saw me to university. When I went to university, it was not very easy. But then, it was not too hard because university there was no fees. They even give us some money we call bangla to feed ourselves. We buy coupons and those even
like allowance.
They were giving us allowance to feed ourselves. So those days, I mean, if it were to be these days where parents pay the full fees, I think it would have been terrible. So I'm also grateful to that era where we don't pay full school fees.
Yeah, viewers, it's so good to hear the testimony of someone. As we've heard, things were not all that good way back at home, but with perseverance, he was able to go through. And if you listen very well, he was also backed with the word of God, because he made a statement that he was established by God from the beginning. Okay, so Daddy, we get to see that when you go to secondary school, I'm picking on secondary school because that is where peer pressure and other things set in, which if you are not careful, it will move you from that good path for you to change into someone else. Did something like that happen when you were in school, or how, if it happened, how did you handle it?
Yeah, when I went to secondary school, I got saved and joined the SU. So we were in the SU, and when we closed, I come back home and I joined the local SU in Rara. I used to the nurses, the nurses fellowship. So I attended their meetings regularly. And, my grandfather's house, that is in my one of my aunties married also in Rara. So I used to visit that house. There were some other children, two girls, 2 ladies who were also in the SU. And there were a lot of people also in the house, but they were not SU members. And somehow they were prospering. Oh, maybe they were flashy, they go to Accra, they buy things, and as if we, the people who were serving God rather, who were suffering and were. We actually, there was a time I used to envy them. And they used to say that people will say you are serving God and serving God. What has He done for you? But we never gave up. With those children, they were very tough. And we continued. And when I visit my parents also in Toaboma, on holidays, in fact, it took me over 6 or 5 years to go back to see my own parents. So when I went there, but it was like I am rather a visitor in my own hometown. And so people know me to be, in fact, people think that I come from Rara.
Oh.
And people even think that I am the son of Teacher Kankam. But yes, I call him father, and I'm attached to him even more than my real father. So for me, I feel that it's not actually the person who gave birth to you that sometimes you have that love for. Because I have that love for that man. In fact, I knew him as my father. Though I knew that I had a father, and also respected my father. But this one, I was so much attached. So me, I felt that, more that this man is my father than the Lord. So when we go on holidays, my cousins, yeah, they are, I think one, my cousin is late now, he's the small, offered to two. It was about 3 or 4 years senior. Come, they are the bosses, and hey, the girls in town. See they are dressing, girls and all, and they somehow mock you, and even my brother who followed me, he was lucky. He was taken by one of our cousins to Bekwai. And so as a young boy, even in the elementary school, my cousin was a COCO officer, extension officer. So this young boy of mine that comes after me was placed in a holiday job on holidays. So the boy who follows me, when he comes for holidays, his chest, I borrow his shirt to wear. We go on holidays, and they throw their waist around and blah blah blah. And the life that they were leading, I'm telling you, was terrible. And when I see what God has done, the laughing that they were laughing at us, at the time, they all could not make it. And now I see that it is good to stick to God, no matter how, whether it is difficult. Yes, it was difficult, especially when they were laughing at us. But today I sang a song in Ever. People think that I learned Ever in Bishop Herman. It was difficult. They said there was a time in Ghana that they said you must learn one Ghanaian language. And then they started teaching us Ever. I could remember one paper, the teacher wrote, Kufiato means a lazy person. It means the marks were very low. So later they allowed me not to, they allow us not to study it again. But or they don't speak Ever at all. You would have to learn, or you have to get an Ever. They speak only Akan language. It is, around them, people speak Bwe. They don't even speak Bwe. They don't speak any language at all apart from Akan. It's just their intonation that would change. They will say, those things, those small, there's no word as somebody of Akan origin will not understand. They don't speak any language. But people don't know. So they think that the fact that you stayed in Rara, you must understand everything. No, it's not like that. And so today I sang the song that there is life in serving the Lord, and that the Holy Spirit gives you freedom. That is what he said. That means that there is life in serving the Lord. And then I say, Bobo Kokoi is the Holy Spirit. And 1 year, Bro David has made me a free person, or has given me freedom.
Viewers, we really thank God, because it is the Holy Spirit that has made us free, and we are free indeed. We are still listening to our father, Elder Dr. Joshua Kankam, the life testimony, what he has done and what he has gone through in life is what we are listening to. And as we are listening as youth, as people of the younger generation, we also take something out of it. Yes, because I'm really learning a lot. Yeah, what the teachers did in his life and also people around him. Doc, if I may ask, what was your motivation in life? Because some of us also stayed with people who were not our biological parents, and different things motivated us. Yeah, I remember my sister used to say that just study, pass your exams, and move to the next level. No one can do this to you again. What was your main motivation in life?
As I was growing up, I was saying, the difficulties that I passed through, I was determined that by the grace of God, I would by all means try and change my situation. Especially when one of the things that I wanted to do is that I wanted to be able to help people. Like when people are traveling, I mean, they go and sometimes they stay in the station in the whole night without going. And I've also traveled, whereas when I'm going to a front place, I pass through Pando. We go and stay in people's house, and then the following morning we take the boat across the lake and go. So I will also try and build a big house, and so that I can also help people who are, that has been my motivation. One thing also, my grandmother, she used to go to the hospital to thank the doctors. There were white doctors in Rara. Rara had a nice hospital. The doctors, whites, coming from Germany, some from America. This, my grandmother would give me yams, eggs, and contombre. I'll carry with my grandmother, and then we take them to the doctors. When we go there, sometimes they'll give you toy, they'll give you pens. When I looked there, I said I want to be, one day want to be like these doctors. But then as a student, when we go to school, your motivation will change. Because sometimes, I was very good in maths. So I said I wanted to be a mathematician. When then I'll be there when they bring the problems, then I'll solve. I mean, as children. I want to be a scientist and all those things. So we did not, but I think somehow behind my mind, that idea long ago when I wanted to be a doctor also influenced me. And when I passed to the university, I didn't go to the university to become a doctor. Because I did mathematics, I didn't do biology, I did additional general science in sixth form, in Form 5. So in sixth form I did mathematics, physics, chemistry, yes, and general paper. So I didn't do math, so just because I was good in math. So I could not say I'm going to do biology, but I filled forms for medicine somehow. And when I went to the university, I started with engineering. I went to the engineering class for 2 weeks. My spirit was not. The machines for the experiments, I was not very happy. One day I was walking to Chapatre Estate to see my aunt, that is Margaret Kankam. She just died last year, and I went to her funeral. May her soul rest in peace. Then as I was going, something told me that we must go to the medical school and follow your forms and go to do medicine. And I believe it was the Holy Ghost. And I straight away went to the medical school to follow up. When I went there, the secretary said, "What do you want?" I said, "I've come to see the dean and I've come to follow up to do medicine." And they said, "Were you invited?" I said, "No." He said, "Oh, you can't see the dean because we have done interviews with this white man," and the man said, "I must come." And when I went there, he said, "My dear chap, what can I do for you?" I told him, "Sir, I filled the form for medical school, and I've come to follow up the form." And he says, "What is your name? What's your grade?" I told him the grade. He said, "Yes, school has, where did you come from?" I said, "Well, I just came from the voter region now to come to school." Then he said, "Okay. School has, has commenced already, but I'll follow up on your form. And there will be an university council meeting and I'll raise your point. And come and see me for the results after some time, maybe a week or so." I went to see him after a week. He said, "My dear chap, I raised your consent or your request, and I've got your form, and it's been agreed that you'll be admitted.
Wow.
But let me advise you. You go home. I will reserve a place for you next year. Because if you join and you fail, you will be dismissed because students have already started." Then I said, "Prof, I would want to join." So, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yes." It was okay. So he said I must go and come back, July, and then he made me to go and register and all. Then there was a strike in the university called Aluta. Normally that's what students were having, Aluta. All those happenings, for me, I thought it was God's intervention on one person. So I went to the medical school. Classes have started. There were new subjects to me, genetics, cell biology. I went, got students, copy notes, and started reading widely while the students were toying or they were demonstrating. They were having their Luther. Come God, Luther went away. The first exams in cell biology and genetics, I was among the best.
Wow.
Because, I actually read the thing and memorized. So when they ask the question, I make an introduction and get myself in somewhere and start to write. And I did better than those people who read biology and started before me.
Wow.
So when this white man saw me, he was so happy. Prof. Parry also was a Christian. Somehow that man was a Christian. that time, I don't know, the first year in school, I don't know what power was in me. I could believe everything. Even I sometimes go to talk to the dean, say that you are a Christian doctor, blah blah, you are supposed to do this. I'm telling you, I used to
go into a whole dean.
I'm telling you, I used to go to the dean. And one thing that surprises me, I could travel without money. Faith, I would start from Kumasi to Obuasi with no money.
Wow.
And come back, maybe with money. Mine, if I thought that I'll get money, if I don't get money, the person seated, they'll give me money, they'll pay my fare to Obuasi, and I'll come back. Those days, faith, and those days, I saw wonderful things in my life. When I was studying with my classmates, and I tell them, this is what is coming. So last minute they don't want to sit with me. Because what I was saying is coming, is coming.
It's coming, yes.
And those gifts, I remember that there was a time, I think there is an oral in medical school. After writing, you go for orals. There will be a panel. Sometimes there will be a external examiner to come and examine you. Yeah, and then there was one lesson. I wasn't prepared very much. So when I was going, I prayed. I was praying and said, God, let them ask me the question that I can answer alone. Then I started speaking in tongues. When I got to the door, I actually was startled myself because, hey, these people would think that I'm mad. And medical school, they think that you get crazy, you'll be dismissed. And so that was an experience that I always remember. I went, and everything was smooth. And I think that for somebody who went to medical and went to university, started engineering 2 weeks, and working and just saying that we're not called, though I remember I felt it, and going, and so for I didn't take it light when I got admission, because right now I don't think I can get that faith to follow something. I see it as impossible. How? And I always sit down and say God's hand was in me being admitted for medical school.
Yeah, viewers, I'm even short of words now. Yeah, moving all the way to the university to do engineering, and 2 weeks gone, something tells you that no, this is not your field. I've made a way for you here. You have to do medicine, and you just change your mind from doing engineering to doing medicine. That is to tell us that God has got a will for us. Yes, He has got His own plan for our lives. So if we align our plans with the plans of God, things will go well for us. Doc, my last but one thing that I want to know, we are your children, and we've been with you for so many years. What we know about you is we can testify that you are a giver. You are a giver. And I remember that some 8 years back, okay, Daddy, there is this thing that we can also testify about you. We've been with you in the church, at home, in the community, Queenstown. If you talk of Dr. Kankam, everyone knows him. And one thing that we know you of is the heart of giving. So we want to know what motivates you to give.
Yeah, I want to say, I got help from others through my struggling days. People were helpful. In fact, even people who were not Christians, like some people, maybe I would just go and help them, pound their fufu for them, they would give me. So, like, I never went hungry, though tough times. So people were, I mean, supportive, and also because also I was trying to help myself. So people were also helping me. So somehow, and then we were growing together as children together, eating together. So that thing of helpfulness has been one of my things. But giving like in form of money and those things there, it was from one pastor, Pastor Steve Asante in Kumasi. This pastor actually impressed me. He's teaching kingdom principle, giving the church, their motivation in giving. When they say offering time, the church, they are clapping. Offering time, they are happy. When they do pastor's appreciation day, they are target. In fact, the people actually understood giving. And so there I was motivated. As I say, even that motivated me. My first salary as a doctor has I actually gave it as my first fruit offering to the church.
Wow.
And I didn't actually see it affecting me because I knew that, yes. And they taught us a lot. Even they taught us how to tithe. Those days, like the pastor made us to understand anything that you get. So you could make a box that you put in, you were taught how, so that, I mean, you don't see that, okay, I don't have money, blah, blah. There's more that you already, you put your tithes aside. You put your tithes aside. And also, he also taught that when you are going to church, you must decide. And then as you go forward, you must know that, okay, this time, this is what I would give. I'm not saying I'm not perfect, and no, but those teachings have influenced me. So that maybe if I was giving 20 rand, then the time will come, I graduate, I said, okay, 50. Okay, that has been my plan. That, okay, maybe, okay, sometimes because you go, you don't have it, or you can. But then you prove yourself that, okay, this time, I think I'm here. This time, you must actually see that.
Looking at your level.
Yeah. You see that you are going up, but you are not stagnant and you're not coming down. Or hazardly, you don't care whatever is in your pocket. If it's 1 rand, 2 rand, then, I mean, we're not taught that. He taught us importance of what you as your purpose, and then you give. So that, I think, actually influenced me. There are also pastors that have influenced me. One pastor that influenced me, I'm surprised. He's a pastor, but he can give. Pastor Kufu. I don't say other pastors don't give, they give. But that pastor, sometimes I wonder, how does he get money?
Viewers, before we continue, that is our late Pastor Akufu. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Pastor Akufu.
Yeah. Oh no, I was observant. It's not I won't say it's my favorite pastor. I have everybody has his favorite pastors.
Yes.
My favorite pastor is Eric now. The chairman. We were very close, I'm telling you, very, 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 very close when he was here. Very close, even in Ghana, very close. It's just that now he's so busy, and if you are busy, I don't want to, because you are my friend, so no. I make him to do his work. When I was in Tamale, I flew to Tamale to greet him, and I'm free. I talk to the wife. I talk no. I mean, we are still good friends, but right now he's very busy, so I don't want to disturb him. Blah 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 blah. But he was for him, we were very good friends. We were very good friends. I could remember even last time he was leaving, he came here, we went to Redon there, and then we had a meal Sunday, the last day. I went there with Eld there. So then we came to. So, but Pastor Kufu, watching him when he actually also impressed me. I said, if a pastor is able to give
like that,
then yeah, what about me who is working? Who is working full time? He is as a part time. This thing. I mean, even if he has a small business, he's not.
Viewers, yes. What I can say here is that as you walk, as you work, whatever you do, maybe someone is looking at you. Because our father looked up to some people. Some of us are looking up to him. And I believe that people in our neighborhood are also looking up to us. That is to tell us that we are some people's Bibles. Yes. So we have to live a life that will testify that indeed we are Christians. So, Daddy, before we go, your last words for those of us behind. Yeah, because we see life differently. We want instant gratification. We want things to be done now. But looking at your life story that you've told us today, you've gotten to see that you went through a lot. And even at a point in time that you went to the university wanting to become an engineer, something spoke to you, you changed to become a medical doctor. And as I sit here, I can say that that was God, simply because of how you attend to people, the sick. Everyone in Queenstown and around can testify to that. So your last words to the youth and the people around.
My last words would be that, I mean, God is a good God. And it's good to work with him. And working with God is not easy. I mean, it's David, and I think if I'm forgotten this, is it 1911 or what? It says, "Thou will show me the path of life. In your presence there's fullness of joy. At the right hand there are pleasures forevermore." That scripture shows that God is the one who shows you the way. He has the way of life. And that way of life, it is not easy. It's not easy, but it's the best. And as we say, every good thing has got a price. Yes. So we have to be ready to pay for the price. And then, I mean, at its own time, you would reap, or you would have the pleasure which is forevermore. So you will laugh, and you laugh best. So I mean, in life, I do not think about what I would have now, but what in future. At the end, think about the end. What also I want to say is that as youth, we should try and make use of your time. Time is a commodity that is very, 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 very important. When once spent, you cannot recover it.
Yes.
God is a faithful God, and God is a good God. God forgives. So there are opportunities that I've wasted. I have also wasted time. If I've not wasted time, I mean, but in all these things, I've learned a lesson, great lesson, that if you, trust God, if you depend on Him, even if you go astray, you come back to Him, He would accept you gladly. And for Him, it will never be too late. For Him, every time, because He has created you in an incredible way, a wonderful way. His scripture says we are wonderful and fearfully made. So I would say that as a human being, your potentials are great. Potentials are great. So don't think that there is nothing you cannot do. I cannot do this, I cannot do this. No, so now I'm in running at the age of 65. I'm running, and I run faster than people who are 50 years. That shows me that, God, in even your age, you can do amazing things. And so now, I think I would want to say that people must try and get, try to aspire to be mentors themselves. As you, if you must try to be, aspire to be a mentor, you must try, aspire to be a model, and above all, a servant minister. That whatever position you are given, you try to serve. Because there is nothing that you will be remembered for. Everybody would. After everybody, our parents, we came, they are no more. Our time will also pass. But what will you be remembered for? You'll be remembered for the people you have helped. Remember for the good work that you have and the good name that you have. You will never remember for anything, or the bad name that you leave. So I want to encourage the youth, especially not to waste their time. And if you have wasted time, don't regret. God is a forgiving God. Just look forward and concentrate on God, and He will never disappoint you.
Thank you so much. This is still my life, my testimony, sharing the testimony of Elder Joshua Kankam. And as we've heard, before I chip in that, recently he did 60 kilometers from Katkat to Queenstown at the age of 65, doing 60 kilometers, which is something that I cannot even get close to half of it. So when God blesses you, He blesses you with fullness of strength and also prosperity. God has really blessed him, and Daddy, we tap into that blessings in the mighty name of Jesus. Viewers, this is how far we can come, and we say that may God bless you for following us, and stay tuned for more of such. May God bless you. Bye-bye.
Amen.